Alright, so I'm reacting to Sneako and MoistCr1tiKal's debate. All these motherfuckers made a video about this shit. And it's like I had to get somebody else's video. I'm reacting to the next nigga's reaction video. Like, this was one of the hardest things to find. Is it because Sneako doesn't have a fucking YouTube or what? Why is it this so hard to find? Let's watch this debate though.
Where it doesn't have this kind of wiggle room.
Okay, why does that define kid?
As I said earlier, at 18.
Let's all get this together. Like, we all know kids are fucking 12 and under and 16 and under. And like, I'm not fucking nobody 17 and under. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, I fuck an 18-year-old though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just being real. Like, I definitely would fuck an 18-year-old. I'm 25, so I don't understand. I'm fucking an 18-year-old. I don't know about you, but I am. I will. You know what I'm saying? 18, 19, 20, we're good to go. You know what I'm saying? You acting grown, you want dick in your mouth, I'll put the dick in your mouth. 17 and below though, can't do that.
At that point, you're going out of high school, you're going to college, you're living on your own, you're no longer, a child under your parents' roof, for the most part, extenuating circumstances, of course, but at that age, you are starting to become independent. You are no longer just in your parents' household a kid. You are now going off into the world on your own.
You do admit that that varies for most people, right? A lot of people don't move out of their parents' homes until they're 25, 26, 27. A lot of people don't.
There's nothing wrong with that.
A lot of people graduate high school.
I'm 25. I didn't move out yet either. I got an ankle monitor on. I've been on an ankle monitor for 4 years. So I would have moved out 4 years ago. I was making some money 4 years ago. Been through a lot of shit. So understanding this part of the debate, I understand it.
16, a lot of people graduate high school 20. It's a huge variable. So to set that in stone is that this is when you're a kid and this is you're an adult, that doesn't apply to most people. So why would you define a kid and an adult if it doesn't apply to most people?
Because it needs to be defined. Otherwise, you can get into this really gray area where you, like a lot of the things you say, can be misconstrued as you wanting to have sex with a 15, 16-year-old.
Who construed that?
A lot of people, because,
I don't think anybody
clips that I played in the video, you were
no
saying like the age of maturity, the age of development, and then you use 16 and 17 in that clip.
So
for the age of marriage.
The definition of an adult is 18 years old.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fine establishment right there. Anything under 18 would classify as a kid. I think that's important.
Okay, but you're getting that from what? From personal experience, from the government, from the law? Because that's legally in America, that's when you become an adult, correct?
Yeah, legally.
So you're following the government's definition of an adult.
I think there needs to be a definition, and
he's setting it up. I can see he's setting it up. Like, if you know, he's setting this shit up. Like, let me put my mic closer to my mouth. He's setting it up, bro. I wouldn't answer that. I would have been like, maybe. You know what I'm saying? He's setting that shit up. Like, he's setting that shit up. I'm going to go back for it, guys. It's right here. Hold on. I told you, I couldn't find the actual debate.
YouTube, what's going on?
There's so much fucking YouTubers now. Like, God, including myself. Like, I'm one of them fucking people that I'm talking shit about. Is this one.
This place gives me the creeps.
What y'all think, though? Like, damn.
That's a
Who's
kid.
gonna win this debate?
I think it's important to have.
Right.
Yeah.
So it varies for everybody. Adulthood is not something that you can set in stone because it's different for the entire world. I moved out when I was 14. A lot of people don't move out until they're 25. I went through puberty when I was 17. A lot of people went through puberty when they were 13, 14, 15. It changes for everybody. So for you to say that this is the set in stone age and say you're a pedophile if it's under 18, and then if you're over 18, you're fine. Well, then that's a weird line that doesn't make sense. So you're going to say this person is a terrible person if they're 17 years old, 364 days, and right after that they're good to go. Well, it changes for everybody. So we have to have something, a definition. We have to be realistic with everybody. Well, we don't. But you're saying we, but that's not even the case in the country we live in.
Why argue against it? If you don't want...
What do you guys think? Like, in the comments, this is my YouTube channel, so you guys can comment as you want. What is the age of consent, nigga, to you? Fuck your state, nigga. What's your age of consent? I want to see who's what y'all think, like, what y'all age of consent, nigga. What you, nigga, what?
the age of consent to be lowered, why are you making arguments that the same people who do make? Right now, what you're saying is kind of what NAMBLA used to say, if you're familiar with NAMBLA.
I have no idea what this is.
NAMBLA was the North American Man-Boy Lover Association. They
Right,
were
because these people they want to have sex to take advantage, and they don't abide by the rules of marriage. They don't have any sort of morality. They just want to have. I'm arguing for this because I believe in marriage. Sex should only be within wedlock. That's why I'm talking about this.
Why, if you're arguing, we can take sex out of it. Why, when you're arguing for marriage, do you want it to drop? Like, okay. 16.
When did I say? Just because I don't believe in the age of consent does not mean that I want it to drop. Like, see, that's where like the internet can go apply that. Just because I'm saying,
well, no,
because you're saying the definition of an adult is 18. I'm saying that's an arbitrary number and that makes no sense. We should encourage marriage when people reach maturity. That makes much more logical sense.
That's even more vague though. But also, you directly
it's vague because it's different for everybody.
When someone can legally drive, they should be able to legally marry. You did say that to me.
Right. When somebody is legally ready to drive, the same thing. I think adults should drive cars. That's why I told you that.
Yeah, but 15 and 16-year-olds can drive cars. You said when someone can legally drive
across the world, 15 and 16-year-olds can have sex too. I think that people should not operate. But see. You keep thinking that I'm saying this because I want the age to be lowered. That's not what I'm talking about.
I don't know, bro. I think that's what you want, nigga. I think that's what you're talking about. Cause like, hear me out. We all done been there before, where it's like, you're like 16. You're like when I'll give you my story. When I was 16, I had a girlfriend or two, a couple of them, and yeah, we was having sex. Like I'm saying, like at the same time, I never had the thought in my head that there's a guy somewhere out there in his 30s trying to fuck. Until I hit like 17, and girls in that same age bracket as me, that was like 17, shit like that. Bitch is getting picked up by a nigga that's driving a fucking GMC or a fucking Cadillac, fucking CTS 08 or some shit. Like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this? We all on fucking bikes still. I mean, did I have a car at 17? I think I had one, but I got rid of it fast. But damn, I'm like, what the fuck? This thing has a wife and kids picking your ass up from what? So I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, because I feel like girls in their back of their heads, they have altered fucking, they just make weird choices. So it's crazy to put this stigma of 18-year-old is legal and all that, bro. I'm telling you, I don't know if I lived a fucked up life or I just probably lived in the ghetto, but I've seen 17, 16-year-olds go after 30-year-old niggas. I've seen it. It's crazy. Like, so it's like, you can defend these bitches all you want, but bro, they be having crazy alternative fucking routes they want to take. Like, boy, you just have to know. I don't know if I know what I'm saying right now, but I've seen it, like the reverse card type shit.
Not at all.
That's what it comes across as, though. When you
maybe with the internet brain, because people in the West, they want to have sex all the time, and they have a different sort of mindset. Right here in the Middle East, I'm in the Middle East right now. They want to get married and then have sex. So people, just because I'm saying this does not mean automatically lower. No. That's not the case at all. I want to ask you then, because you're insinuating that it sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
It is an adult who is attracted to children.
Yeah, it comes from the Greek word pedo means child, and phile means love. So somebody who loves a child.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
An adult who is attracted to a child.
To a child, somebody who has not reached physical maturity.
Yes.
That's the definition of child. Somebody who hasn't reached physical maturity. It has nothing to do with 18. The definition of the word talks about physical maturity, not the U.S. government definition that you're basing it off of.
But there needs to be an agreed upon place. Otherwise, you get into this area. Again,
Charlie is not fucking playing. He don't like that shit. Like, he's trying to convince this nigga, like, yo, 18 is the fucking age. And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But this nigga, Sneako, is not fucking going. Like, he don't give a fuck.
You said when you can legally drive, you should be able to legally marry.
Right.
And we don't have to talk about sex. Do you think it's okay to be marrying a 15 or 16-year-old? Probably not, right? Like I would imagine, probably not.
It depends. So this is where the age of consent becomes arbitrary. I don't even believe like that. Consent is a weird thing to even speak about, but it should be the father, right? If I want to marry a girl, I shouldn't even just get consent from her. I should get consent from her parents. She should want to say yes. Her parents should want to say yes. That's consent from the family, and then you get married. That's the Islamic way. That's the only way that makes sense. This American.
Very interesting.
I mean,
Now she gave consent, and then you get all these false allegations like, oh, she was drunk. Oh, she
fuck going on in this nigga's fucking video.
took it back. Oh, she retracted consent. All this stuff, like there's not even a specific way that we can define consent. What is consent? Some people
Yo, this nigga shit is
say it's
boo-boo.
yes. Some people say it's like nonverbal.
Guys, I'm watching somebody else's reaction. Like, okay, I couldn't find this shit on YouTube. I had to find it from a reaction video. Like, thank God there's 100 niggas doing YouTube now. 100 crackers, 100 wetbacks, 100 chicos, 100 habibis, 100 Chinese niggas, 100 every fucking of the culture you can think of is doing YouTube, nigga.
Communication. Some people say that it doesn't count because she was under the influence or she was intimidated. Even this is an arbitrary, is a weird way to define when you're allowed to be in a relationship with somebody.
You're kind of talking around it, though. Those are all very different things. Like I said, we don't have to be talking about sex. I was talking about marriage. The question was, do you think, and you said when you are legally able to drive, you should be able to legally marry. Do you think it is okay for an adult to legally marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
Okay, well, by my logic, if the man is physically mature,
He's taking too long to answer this, nigga. The answer is, fuck no. It's just not. But other countries do it. But it's not, nigga. That's not something you should be trying to do, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Find your little 21-year-old, if you like them a little younger. Find a 21-year-old that's maturely there, kind of. Because they're still dumb as fuck in the brain, if you ask me. Find a 21-year-old with a good head on her shoulders, my boy. And if you want a kid that bad, nigga, busting her like there's no tomorrow. Blow her ass up, nigga. Put the baby inside the thingy.
mature, if he's went through puberty and he's mentally ready at the age of 16, he's an adult. If he wants to get married to another girl who becomes a woman,
I just said an adult. Is it okay for an adult?
Right, and I established, but we haven't even established exactly what an adult. So if somebody goes through puberty and they're physically ready, they're biologically ready, they're an adult. So the two 16-year-olds can be considered adults by my logic.
We're not talking about two.
What are you talking about?
We're talking about an adult.
That is an adult.
Arguing it,
What I'm saying is that so then what is an adult now?
Okay. We'll use your age. Someone who is 25. Is it okay for someone who is in their 20s to marry a 15 or 16-year-old? And let me explain, when you're doing your arguments, it's coming from an adult. I've never heard you say, like, two teenagers should be able to marry. Like, I haven't heard that with these takes. I'm talking about someone in your position, in the 20s. Is it okay for you to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
Fuck no.
Teenager, even bringing up this term that has nothing to do with child and adult. So there's two phases. You're a child, and then you physically mature.
I don't know why you can't just
your
answer
body
that directly.
I'm saying the difference between a child.
Answer the question, nigga. No. I take that back. Answer the question, Habibi. Fucking Habloo. Answer the question, Habab.
Child and adult is when you're physically and when you're biologically, when you're mentally ready to have kids. That's the teenager is not even. So you added another term in this. It goes child and then adult. You mature and then you're physically ready.
Well, I didn't add it. You brought in two 16-year-olds. We were talking about an adult and a 15 or 16-year-old. I was not the one that brought this into the equation.
Right.
With it.
If it's illegal,
So, like,
if it's illegal, because we believe in Islam, we believe that we should obey the law of the land. If that's illegal,
Okay.
if that's not permissible, then we don't do it. We don't break the law.
But we're not, I'm talking about your personal beliefs. Do you think someone in their 20s should be able to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
To someone in their 20s should be, I mean, I personally wouldn't do it. I don't know many people who would do it. the maturity for people in the teenagers in the West is getting much worse. But there are...
We're talking globally. Let's just talk globally. Like, do you think it is okay for... And I'm not talking about just you specifically anymore. Anyone. Do you think it's okay for anyone in their 20s, an adult, to marry a 15
Is this a
or 16
difficult question, bro?
A 21-year-old, if there was a marriage where the father consented and the daughter consented, and it was both good on both families and they wanted to do it, why am I going to get involved? Why should we get the government involved?
Well,
Why would I tell them if everybody's consenting, if everybody's okay with it, if the parents are okay with it, if nobody's being harmed, if it's going to be okay, if they're both abiding by the rules and they're not hurting each other, why not?
But they're still, like, they're at best a sophomore.
Let me get a weird nigga. It's 15 minutes into my video. Let me get a weird nigga in the comments at timestamp. 15 minutes, 33 seconds. Weird nigga.
In high school, they can't consent to something like that. Like, do you think a
Okay, so now it's
16-year-old can
sophomore in
consent to
high
something
school
like that?
versus senior in high school. What's the difference? Like, what's the difference
I'm just saying,
maturity-wise?
like, I'm giving you a perspective on where that age would be in life. Like, they can't consent to something like that.
That's probably you're bringing up an outlier that's probably not going to happen as much. I'm saying that these are arbitrary reasons to say, like, a sophomore versus a senior in high school. How much different were you really maturity-wise? It wasn't that much of a difference. The reason that you keep saying 18 is because in California, where they post Hollywood movies, it's 18. And so everybody across the world, this is the standard that we believe in. This is the correct age, exactly on the dot. And if it's anything under that, are you going to say here that if a 21-year-old got married to a 17-year-old who was almost 18, is that 21-year-old a pedophile?
I would say that is a morally bad thing to do for sure.
Not morally bad. Not morally bad. Is that?
I wouldn't call it not.
Time snap, 16 minutes. Is that a paragraph? Is that a thing file? Is that one of those? Is that a PDF file? Tell me in the comments, please.
I wouldn't call them a pedophile.
So when does somebody become a pedophile?
I would say when you have this position, you're
not answering the question.
I'm explaining it.
Okay.
When you are in your 20s and you start preying upon someone who is still a child, a 15, 16, 14, anything under 18, a 21 and a 17-year-old.
But you still haven't specifically defined what a child is.
I did.
So then why? Okay, there you go. So if pedophile is love of children, and your definition of adult starts at 18.
Why this nigga keep trying to switch it and saying love of children? Nigga, no. Nigga, we know what that is. We didn't... Boy.
If the 21-year-old marries a 17-year-old who's turning 18 tomorrow, he is a pedophile based off your definition.
As I said, if he would wait, he would not be. Then,
well, not wait. Based off your definition, that person's
in that position. There is no reason to not wait for the legally established, agreed upon definition of when you stop being a child.
Okay, so now we get into the question of whether the pedophile thing, is that a moral answer or a legal answer? Because it seems like morally, it's pretty much, okay, it's almost there. That morally, that's not a pedophile. Legally, it is. But those are two different things.
But they don't need to be. They can coexist. You recognize that, right?
No. Then that's when you muddy up morality with the law. Now you're allowing the government to determine morality, and that's where things get muddied up, because if they changed it with like they did before, like 200 years ago in the 1800s when it was the age of 10, that was fine. Legally back then, they were not a pedophile. Today, legally, they are a pedophile. There's no consistency there.
But
you can't allow the
government
government to determine morality because it changes all the time.
Fuck.
Tomorrow, if the U.S. government legalized bestiality, if the government legalized incest, based off your logic, there'd be no reason why that's wrong. Can I ask you, Moist, do you think that incest is wrong?
Yeah, watching this shit is crazy because, like, I live with people, you know what I'm saying? My mom, as her walking past is hearing this shit. Like, what the fuck is this nigga listening? What the fuck is he watching in there? Like, yo, pipe down. Nigga, I gotta turn this nigga down, kid.
Yes.
Why is incest wrong?
There is under no circumstances any excuse for anyone of the same bloodline to be romantic like that. By no means at all.
That shit wrong, nigga.
I really think it should be pretty obvious why.
I don't know why. I'm asking.
I know where you're going with this because I've heard this argument from another streamer before about like the ethics of incest. If they don't have a kid and thus don't pass down like bad genes that lead to a bad child. I've heard this before.
But I want to hear your answer, because are we going with legal or are we going to follow some sort of morality, sort of consistent morality? Why is incest wrong?
Incest is wrong because I believe that no family dynamic should ever include a sexual.
It's wrong because I feel like, and I don't want to sound like one of those guys, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say nothing about what they're saying. Here's my take on it. It's wrong because we all know that we're more than just people. We're probably like spiritual beings, right? Yeah, we get that. So that, with that being said, like when you're born into a family and you have that spiritual thingy, like it's like, let's think of it as a bubble, right? And it drips down pieces of the bubble, right? And you mix that bubble, makes a bubble, right? Just a bubble. But when you take that bubble and you put it with things outside of that bubble, it makes a snowflake. If you get what I'm trying to say, like it makes a actual product. You keep putting the bubble in the bubble, you're just gonna keep getting a bubble and bubble, gonna just pop. I feel like that. That's how it's spiritual. I'm gonna break it down. It might sound dumb. I don't care if it sounds dumb. I'm just trying to give you my feelings towards it. I would never be okay with that because it's nasty. You're making the same bubble. You're not branching off of the branch off. You should branch off and fuck other people. If you are doing shit like that, boy, your ass need to go talk to somebody. Like for real.
Relation.
Why?
I don't think that because it is not healthy. It is a bad thing to do. It
What,
is a horrible thing to subject someone to.
But why is it horrible? Because who told you that?
It's what I believe. And also, if you do have a child with your own kin, the child suffers.
Okay, but say it's two brothers, two gay brothers, Chris Tyson and other Chris Tyson and Chris. If they're two brothers and they decide to be in a no, genuine question. It's what you believe in. I want to figure out where your beliefs come from. You personally believe that.
My beliefs come from a place of what I believe to be moral, where I don't believe that anyone in the same family has any position to be romantic with one another. I don't think
so
that's a
your
healthy
morality
dynamic.
comes from yourself?
My morality comes from like the world around me. I don't have.
I feel like he doesn't know how to say it, but like it goes back to that little shit I'm saying. Like, so, hey, if you don't believe in the spiritual shit, I understand, but hear me out. It could be a scientific thing, his vibrations or whatever you want to call it, his neurons, nigga, his atoms, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It just doesn't resonate with that. When you have a deep feeling of, and you can say the same thing because Sneako obviously has a deep feeling that he's right. But when you have a deep feeling about something, bro, like not morally means something to you, like. So in his hard down vibrations, he just doesn't fuck with that shit. Like it doesn't resonate with his idea of how life should be ran, or his simulation, or his whatever your mind frame is. He doesn't believe this is a thing. Sneako believes this is a thing. So it's like a clash of two different fucking. It's just like a battle right now of. I'm not gonna say good and evil, but just two different way of thinking, two different brain platforms, two different machines going at it right now. Let's keep going. We're at 23, but 16 in their video. It's good.
Okay, so if the morality comes from the world around you, then by your logic, if you lived in America in the 1800s where the age of 10 was okay, and where the age of 7 was okay in England, just 200 years ago, if you follow the world around you, that would be okay. That was fine.
And it's not now because we've evolved past them.
The age of consent is 14 in many places in Europe.
Bad thing. People evolve. Like people like here we'll go even stupider with this.
So your morality is ever changing. It changes with
yes,
people.
Morality is changing. Like you are not born and then stay the same the entire time. As you take in more information, as you grow, so does your understanding of the world. That's how it should be.
Let's see where this goes.
Let's see where this change.
Okay, let's say we continue this, and morality is ever changing. And then you, MoistCr1tiKal, you're living in America, and now everyone around you now believes incest is okay, as long as you don't have a child that's going to come out deformed. You have.
Then I would disagree with it.
So your morality does not come from those around you. It comes from somewhere. If your morality comes from around you, you would agree with everybody that's there. You would agree with the government. You would agree with the law of the land. Where would you get?
Everyone has their own individuality.
Hey, that's not the law of the land. We all know I love that the land. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Because I really don't. Don't quote me when I say this, but I really don't feel like we're from this land. You know what I'm saying? I really just don't. I feel like Well, I'm not gonna say where I don't feel like it. I am. How about that? I don't want y'all to take my shit and be like, hey, what the fuck is he talking about? What I'm talking about is I just be feeling like weird, bro. And like most of my music, I always feel like I always talk about Mars too much in all my music. I don't know why I talk about that shit so much, but I talk about Mars a lot. I like Mars. You know what I'm saying?
Individuality has nothing to do with morals. Your personal,
it does, because your morals are formed from your personal experiences and from what you take in around you, from the people around you.
Okay, so but if you take it in from the people around you, then incest would be okay if everybody was doing it.
If you personally didn't agree with it, it wouldn't. Like, if you want, like, I don't know why you're doing the argument a little incorrectly, but I know where you're trying to go. But the point is, like, the fact of the matter is, people will always have their own perspectives on things, unless, of course, you just follow what you are told 100% of the time. Like, for you, you're pushing back against the age of consent because you don't like being told that this is what it is based on this. You believe that, well, actually, there's a couple other extenuating circumstances in these cases.
That's not what I believe in. My belief comes from something that's consistent. It comes from the Islamic way. It comes from the Islamic way because nothing else makes sense. The Western way is always adapting, and now we allow people to change their genders, something that was admonishable only 10 years ago. See, you're following the ever-changing morality. Only 10 years ago, a man becoming a woman was a mental illness. It was something that was shamed upon. 10 years ago, if Chris Tyson was going on a Mr. Beast video and he was there dressed up like a girl, and he was saying that I'm taking puberty blockers, hormone blockers, everybody would admonish him. In a lot of places, he would be excommunicated. He would say, absolutely, I do not want kids to take hormone blockers and change themselves forever. But today, that's allowed. Today, that's pushed. Today, that's okay. And then everybody else kind of falls into suit. There are a small minority of people in the West, people that believe in God, they say that this is absolutely wrong, and then they get banned for it. You can't follow the people that are around you, the ever-changing morality.
You can't follow a line of questioning. You keep going off onto these tangents. Look, at the end of the day, man,
it's not a tangent.
You can believe whatever you want to believe. But the point is, people are always going
No. You cannot believe just whatever you want to believe. You cannot.
What you are doing.
If you believe bestiality is wrong, you should not be in society. If you believe incest is okay, you should not be within the community. You should be excommunicated. These are things that there's some certain morality that should supersede the government. That should supersede something. The government should not.
The age of consent for you?
It's not the age of consent. It's
you should stay on topic here.
I'm staying on topic.
What you are doing is you are deflecting to other topics. You have still not directly said that you think it is a bad thing for an adult to marry a child. Like, you are still unable to say that. Now,
but you haven't even defined child.
I have. My definition is anything under 18.
That's exactly what a child is.
Yeah, I think that is a great line in the sand. If you are under 18, you are a child.
It's not a great line in the sand. But that's not even the definition of child. You're going off of your own definition.
Who cares?
Who cares?
Like, who cares? Yes. Why? If 18 is the established point, you are out of high school going to college. If that is the point where everyone has agreed you're an adult past this point, why argue against it?
Why argue? Because if the government decides to push the age of high school, if they try to lower it, if they said that you can vote at a different age, then your morality changes based off of the law. And I'm saying that you need to have a consistent morality that does not change with the government and that does not change with the people that live in your country. It has to supersede that. You can't just say because of high school, because of college, this is the set in stone age forever.
Okay, I want you, Sneako, to set an age in stone right now for the age of consent, age of marriage. What is that to you?
I told you that there is no age of marriage. It has to be based off maturity, and it has to be based off of whether it's going to be harmful, and it has to be based off the consent of the parents. It has to be healthy.
That?
Nigga. Come on. So if I got your daughter, I'm talking to you, Sneako. If you probably never hear this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm a new channel. But listen, I'm not gonna say me. Let's say the homie. The homie's like what? Let's say he's 27, right? And you have a daughter now, Sneako, right? And she like 13 or 12 or some shit, Sneako. So you mean to tell me if the homie grabbed your daughter up, marry her, clap cheeks, would you be okay with that, Sneako? Just asking.
If I want to marry a girl I have to first ask her father. I have to ask her brother.
And the father's perfect. The father knows what's best for the child at all
And I have
times.
to ask her
Every father
mother,
knows.
and the daughter has to consent. If all three parties are consenting, and then my family's consenting, that's fine. That's what a
And it's
marriage should
and
be
it's
based
okay.
upon.
All that happens, and it's a 14-year-old. Now what?
If the 14-year-old is mature and I'm 16, say I went through puberty as well,
not 16,
and
you're
I'm
in your
17 or I'm 18. See, the problem with this is that you have a specific idea of where the age is. But if I'm 17 and I'm mature, and I meet a 14, a 15-year-old, and I'm okay, I'm mature, my family's okay. I asked the daughter,
You're not
I asked the
17,
daughter's
you are in your
father for the
20s.
hand of marriage.
You're in your 20s.
I went on
Does
this
it change?
already. I went on this already.
Does it change?
Your scenario earlier was if a 16 and a 21-year-old, both parties were consent, if the father was okay with it, the mother was okay with it, why not? Give me a reason why that's. Tell me a reason why that's wrong. Because you're
One
getting
is a child, one is not a child. That's the point. So the 14-year-old, all of those criteria we just checked. You're in your 20s.
The definition that we just agreed upon, that's not true.
Why is this a fucking argument? And what's not true? Like, what did y'all agree upon? Y'all heard of an agreement? We're at 30 minutes, right? Let's get that part 2 in. But what the fuck did they agree upon? I'm just hearing the same shit. For like 15 minutes, I heard the same shit back to back. I had to roll the blunt, Jake. I'm saying, like, I couldn't even stick with it. We're gonna get this whole stream in, like, yeah. We'll get the part 2 in right now. Or you can go watch it in its entirety, or you can just watch it with me in part 2. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me know. Cause this is crazy. It's funny. It's funny.